Hi there, and welcome to our workshop on writing and designing your poster presentation. I'm Madeline Rosa, and I am the Associate Director of the Center for Scholarly Communication, and today I'm going to walk you through the different steps to take to designing your successful poster presentation. If you're not familiar with us, the Center for Scholarly Communication is available on campus for both students and faculty. We offer individual writing consultations, run semester-long writing groups, offer academic and professional workshops just like this one, and we lead mini conferences. We have the scholarly editing and writing services, which are a weekly editing support that is asynchronous, that faculty and students who are looking to publish, write grants, or complete their thesis or dissertation can submit their work for copy editing, feedback, running authenticate reports, and get publication support. We also run semester-long writing groups led by experienced consultants that writers can work to set goals, increase productivity, and meet with other graduate writers to talk about their progress on their thesis or dissertation. Finally, we have our dissertation and thesis bootcamp, which is run in the fall and spring semesters. Today in this workshop, we're going to cover exactly what is a poster presentation. Then we'll talk about how to design your poster to be as successful as possible. And we'll explore some of the examples of good and bad posters. To define what a poster presentation is exactly, we're going to talk about the rhetorical expectations of this genre. So, a poster presentation has over time become one of the most prevalent methods of disseminating information at conferences and other academic events. This is because it's easily digestible content and easy to access for attendees. A poster is a large format presentation of your work. Most conferences have poster sessions. During this time, authors display their posters, typically on a display board of 4 by 6 feet, and visitors can come and receive verbal descriptions of the poster's main point and ask questions. The purpose of a poster presentation is to clearly summarize findings in a way that a passive viewer could easily comprehend. The viewers expect to see what the study was about and what the results were. When your poster is visually appealing and organized, more people will understand and be drawn to your poster. Some of the positive impacts of poster presentations include having a networking opportunity that's low stakes for researchers and graduate students. You're getting your work out there without the stress of having a formal conference presentation. You can get real-time feedback on the comprehension of your findings, and you get another CV line. When it comes time to present your poster, you'll give viewers an overview of key points, which will initiate a dialogue with audience members. You typically stand next to your poster and give the presentation when people ask about it. You'll also answer any questions that people have about your poster. The average distance people stand away from your poster when they start out is 9 feet, so you want to make sure that the most important information is visible from that distance. Specifically, you'll want to have clear titles and large headings and subheadings. This will initiate your audience's interaction with your content, and they'll typically move to be about 6.5 feet away from your poster after that. Now that we understand what interactions with your poster will look like, we can think about the design choices we'll use to accommodate varying needs. Your poster must be concise and clear with both design and layout. This is the key challenge of designing a poster because it ends up involving two conflicting goals. The first is to minimize the amount of text on the poster. You really want to avoid giving your audience a wall of text. The second, though, is ensuring that it's easy to comprehend. And to do this, you may choose from a couple of different formats. You may choose to have lots of visuals and information, or you could choose to have text-based or data-driven charts. The design and format of your poster is really determined by what you're trying to convey. At this point, you may not know the answer to this, so we'll explore a couple of different questions to help you decide. Nicole and Paxman suggest that you ask the following questions when creating a poster. What is the main point I want to make? What are the key pieces of information people need to understand my hypotheses or arguments? Specifically, do they need previous studies, theoretical models? Do you need to define terms for them? Next, are there any crucial details of my methodology that need to be mentioned? Are there aspects of my methodology that should be illustrated with examples? Which of my results are the most important to present? And what conclusions can I realistically make? You might take a second to pause the video here and try to answer some of these questions about your own presentation. As you answer these questions, try to designate an order of importance for each of them. You might rank them from first to last by number to decide what's the most important things that you get across to your audience. Now we'll establish the organization of information on your poster. Typically, studies will follow the IMRAD model of research. This includes introduction, methods, results, discussion and conclusion, future study, and references. We're going to look at this graphic on the right-hand side to kind of talk through what this involves. On the top section, you'll see it says title, author, abstract, and keywords. You want to start by giving your audience descriptive information that lets them search for the article later on. Then we have introduction. This is the context for your project, how it fits in with other research on the topic, and most importantly, what is your research question or what are your research questions? Next is your methods. This is what you specifically did to answer your research questions. Next is the results. This is what the answer to the question was, and typically is depicted using tables and figures. Finally is your discussion and conclusion. This is the so what of your project. This is what the significance of the project is and how it fits in with what else is known about the topic. Finally, you'll provide your references, which are the materials you cited while writing the paper. Most IMRAD structures follow this same formatting on a poster presentation. You can look at this graphic while designing your poster to see the best way to put your info. So on the top middle, we have the title of the presentation. Thanks for ruining my day, the effect of misfortune on mood. Then we have each author and their university affiliation. You might include having some white space throughout your poster to make sure that your audience's eyes are drawn specifically to the organization of the IMRAD structure. Again, avoid filling your whole poster with text to avoid overwhelming your audience. Then, beginning on the top left corner, we have the introduction, followed by the research questions. You'll notice that when we looked at the IMRAD model, the research questions were part of the introduction. Here, the author chose to isolate those because they're so important to the study. Then the audience can easily identify what the research questions were. In our middle section, we have the method and results. This is all separated by empty space to help guide the reader step by step through the research. On the top right corner, we have the discussion, followed by references, and you might also provide acknowledgments for those who helped you through your poster. As you design your poster, you'll most likely use PowerPoint. To do this, you'll want to launch PowerPoint and create a blank page. After you've gotten to this point, you'll likely need to change the slides manually to fit the right size. The most common type of poster adopts 36 inches of height and 48 inches of width. It's recommended that you check your target conference's expectations, though, to make sure this aligns with what they need. Academic conferences typically offer a detailed guideline about poster presentations that you can find on their website. From here, you can add the text and images that you want to add, and for printing purposes, be sure that you save your PowerPoint as a PDF so that your poster is ready for printing. When it comes to designing your poster, there are a few key principles for the design and layout. We'll start by looking at fonts and size. You want to use large fonts that can be read at a distance for titles and headings. Take a look at this slide below. Moving from left to right, we can see the increase of text size. On the left-hand side, we have a 20-point font in simple Arial font. Then, in the middle, 48-point size font. And all the way to the right, 60-point size font. Try moving closer and further away from your computer to see what this looks like from a distance and close up. Put yourself into your audience's shoes to think about what font sizes would be most beneficial for them while reading your poster. Next is layout and eye level. You want to make sure that the important information that you're trying to convey to your audience is in the prime real estate region. On the right-hand side of this slide, you can see what I'm talking about. Typically, the eye level or prime real estate is about 5.5 feet high. This is the average height for your viewers. You want to keep your title at that eye level so when they interact with your slide the first time, they can see exactly what you're going to be talking about. Your important or main components will also be at eye level. The space below the eye level will receive less attention from your viewers, so be sure to keep that in mind as you design. The graphic on the left-hand side of this slide shows how your viewers' eyes move as they look at your sign. On the left-hand top side, we have the hot zone. This is where the viewer's eyes begin. They slowly move across the poster until they get to the bottom right-hand side where you'll see the orange square that says the take-home messages. Color is another important principle of your design. Nicole and Paxman indicated that the use of color can really impact the viewer's eyes and illustrating the results. You want to choose 2 or 3 colors and keep them consistent throughout your poster. Use strong primary colors like red, blue, and yellow. These provide the best contrast and create the most professional impression for your audience. You want to use color to highlight key words like the names of conditions or important concepts in the text. Otherwise, the body of your text should remain black. Avoid using patterned backgrounds because these can tend to be distracting. Most posters have a plain background, but you might choose to use a soft neutral color. Keep lots of empty white space on your poster to enhance the effects of your colored sections. Visual aids are one of the most effective ways to make your poster visually striking, and they often are a great way to communicate complex information straightforward and succinctly. For an empirical study or data-driven study, and you have a lot of data, it's best to explain this with a chart, graph, or table summarizing that data and illustrating how it confirms your hypothesis. If you don't have empirical data, you might want to use photographs, illustrations, annotations, or other items that will pique your viewers' interest and communicate your motivations, while demonstrating why your project is particularly interesting or unique. Here are a couple of other helpful online resources to help you create visual aids. When it comes to your design and layout, word count and reading rate are really important to take into consideration. NYU Libraries suggest that the limit to the overall word count should be about 300 to 800 words. Rowe, 2017, explained that college-level readers can consume about 250 words per minute, and proficient readers about 400. Referring to a study done on adult drivers, Rowe pointed out that the maximum effective reading is around 80 words per minute. Overall, word count doesn't have to be too small. You have a lot of information after all. But writers are expected to write concisely. Clear and concise text information, along with helpful visual aids, will help busy viewers. Actual conversation can happen for more detailed explanations. Here is another common layout for the reading order of a poster. Again, on the top middle is the poster title and author's names and affiliation. As in this example, most posters are 4 columns wide. Additional columns may be permitted if there's considerable room for posters at the conference, and posters with only 3 columns are sometimes used when there's less room for posters. Text and figures are arranged in columns, starting from the left. Presenting information in columns starting from the left allows people to read the poster without bumping into one another. They'll slowly move from left to right as they read your poster, allowing for the next viewer to start reading. This figure, reprinted from Nicole and Pexman, is titled Overview of a Single Panel Poster Layout. Again, this is the same one we looked at before, where it breaks up the introduction and research questions along with the discussion, references, and acknowledgments on the right-hand side. Now, this is what the poster might look like if it was filled in with information. You'll see that there is still a lot of white space. The information is organized in blocks of text with bolded headings. The subsections are titled in an orange font that is underlined for the reader to easily view. The background of this poster is a navy blue, making the white sections pop for the reader to notice. Now that we've established some of the key principles for layout and design, we're going to look at some examples of good and bad posters. Here is the first example of a poster. On the left-hand side, we'll see an abstract, which is one short block of text, followed by an introduction and history. Each of these sections has a title that's blocked with a tan background and a blue all caps heading. Their introduction and history includes 3 images, and their methods also has a table. Moving to the middle section, their robot design section includes 3 different graphics, following with the experimental setup that has a clearly labeled image using different colors and arrows to guide the audience. On the right-hand side, the results are depicted mainly using figures, charts, and images. Finally, they have a list of future work that this work may contribute to. This is an example of a good poster. This was the 2016 Undergraduate Research and Prestigious Scholarships from UMBC. This is a successful poster because of the clear organization, headings, and the different ways that they draw the reader's attention throughout. This is an example of a less effective poster. While we can read the title, Pigs in Space, Effect of Zero Gravity and Ad Libitum Feeding on Weight Gain and Cavia porcellus, a lot of this is hard to see. To start, we have a background that is stars. Then, the organization is a bit all over the place. On the left-hand side, we have the abstract, and the center has the introduction. But from here, it's a little bit hard to tell which direction to go. We actually want to move to the materials and methods on the top right-hand side, followed by the results, and then the conclusion. This isn't an well-organized poster because, like we said before, your readers will be moving from left to right. This will get everyone just kind of confused as they try to read through the poster and move in a logical flow. Colin Purrington was the author of the previous poster, and he intentionally made this poster as a bad example for education purposes. He discusses that the theme, color, and background image are just too distracting. There's too much textual information. The position of each information is not in a proper order. If you have a paper from your class or coursework, you can use it to create a poster. Follow the suggestions in this workshop and make use of the template below to write your own poster. I'll show you what this looks like. This resource is offered by the University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign. Here they have downloadable templates for research posters that you might use to organize your poster. Overall, I wish you the best of luck as you continue to organize your poster presentation. Keep in mind that you're designing this for your audience, so whenever you're not sure, take a step back and put yourself into their shoes. Here are the references used throughout this presentation. If you want to learn more about anything discussed, you can follow these to learn more. Thank you so much for following along on the CSC workshop. If you have any further questions, feel free to reach out to us at scholarly-communication@iup.edu. Thanks so much.